summer table. Hey, is this seat taken? I looked up, and a girl I never saw before was standing across from my table with a lunch tray full of food. She had long, wave brown hair and wore a brown t-shirt with a purple peace sign on it. No, I said. She put her lunch tray on the table, plopped her backpack on the floor, and sat down across from me. She started to eat some mac and cheese on her plate. She said after swallowing the first bite, I should have bought a sandwich like you did. Yeah, I said, nodding. My name is Summer, by the way. What's yours? August. Cool, she said. Summer. Another girl came over to the table carrying a tray. Why are you sitting here? Come back to the table. It was too crowded. Summer answered her. Come sit here. There's more room. The other girl looked confused for a second. I realized she had been one of the girls I had caught looking at me just a few minutes earlier, hand cupped over her mouth, whispering. I guess Summer had been one of the girls at that table too. Never mind, said the girl, leaving. Summer looked at me, shrugged, smiled, and took another bite of her mac and cheese. Hey, our names kind of match, she said as she chewed. I guess she could tell I didn't know what she meant. Summer, August, she said, smiling, her eyes open wide as she waited for me to get it. Oh yeah, I said after a second. We can make this the summer-only lunch table, she said. Only kids with summer names can sit here. Let's see. Is there anyone here named June or July? There's Amaya, I said. Technically, May is spring, Summer answered. But if she wanted to sit here, we could make an exception. She said it as if she actually thought the whole thing through. There's Julian. That's like the name Julia, which comes from July. I didn't say anything. There's a kid named Reed in my English class, I said. Yeah, I know Reed, but how is Reed a summer name? She asked. I don't know, I shrugged. I just picture like a reed of grass being a summer thing. Yeah, okay. She nodded, pulling out her notebook, and Miss Patosa could see here too. That kind of sounds like the word petal, which I think of as a summer thing too. I have her for homeroom, I said. I have her for math, she answered, making a face. She started writing the list of names on the second to last page of her notebook. So who else? She said. By the end of lunch, we had come up with a whole list of names of kids and teachers who could sit at our table if they wanted. Most of the names weren't actually summer It started after I had my jaw surgery when I couldn't talk because my mouth was weird shut. They had taken a piece of bone from my hip bone to insert into my chin to make it look more normal. So I was hurting in a lot of different places. Mom would point to one of my benches, and I would hold up my fingers to show her how much it was hurting. One meant a little bit, time meant so much. Then she would tell the doctor when she made his rounds what needed adjusting or things like that. Mom got very good at reading my mind sometimes. After that, we got into the habit of doing the 1 to 10 scale for anything that hurt. Like, if I just had a plain old sore throat, she would ask 1 to 10, and I would say 3, or whatever it was. When school was over, I went outside to meet Mom, who was waiting for me at the front entrance like all the other parents or babysitters. The first thing she said after hugging me was, "So how was it? 1 to 10? 5, I said, shrugging, which I could tell totally surprised her. "Wow," she said quietly. "That's even better than I hoped for. Are we picking Will up?" "Miranda's mother is picking her up today. Do you want me to carry your backpack, sweetness?" We had started walking through the crowd of kids and parents, most of whom were noticing me, secretly pointing me out of each other. "I'm fine," I said. "It looks too heavy, Oki." She started to take it from me. "Mom," I said, pulling my backpack away from her. I walked in front of her through this crowd. "See you tomorrow, August." It was summer. She was walking in the opposite direction. "Bye, Summer," I said, waving at her. As soon as we crossed the street and were free from the crowd, Mom said, "Who was that, Augie?" "Summer." "Is she in your class?" "I have lots of classes." "Is she in any of your classes?" Mom said. "I don't know." Mom waited for me to say something else, but I just didn't feel like talking. "So it went okay," said Mom. I could tell she had a million questions she wanted to ask me. Everyone was nice. Everyone was nice. "Did you like your teachers?" "Yeah." "How about those kids you met last week? Were they nice?" Fine. Jack hang out with me a lot." "That's so great, sweetie. How about that boy, Julian?" I thought about that serious comment, but now it felt like that happened 100 years ago. "He was okay," I said. "And the brown girl, what was her name?" "Charlotte, Mom." I said everyone was nice already. "Okay," Mom answered. I honestly don't know why I was kind of mad at Mom, but I was. We crossed Amesford Avenue, and she didn't say anything else until we turned onto our block. So Mom said, "How did you meet Summer if she wasn't in any of your classes?" "We sat together at lunch," I said. I had started kicking a rock between my feet like it was a soccer ball, chasing it back and forth across the sidewalk. "She seems very nice." "Yeah, she is. She's very pretty." That's not true, she said. I can't believe you just cut it off like that, she added snugly, and then particularly slammed my bedroom door shut as she left the room. I was snuggling with Daisy on my bed. When Dad came to tuck me in later, he scooched Daisy over gently and lay down next to me on the blanket. So, okie dokie, he said. It was really an okay day. He got that from an old cartoon about the accent named Okie Dokie. By the way, she had bought it for me on eBay when I was about 4, and we watched it a lot for a while, especially in the hospital. He would call me Okie Dokie, and I would call him Dear Old Dad, like the puppy called the accent dad on the show. Yeah, it was totally okay, I said, nodding. You've been so quiet all night long. I guess I'm tired. It was a long day, huh? I nodded, but it really was okay. I nodded again. He didn't say anything, so after a few seconds, I said, it was better than okay, actually. That's great to hear, Oki, he said quietly, kissing my forehead. So it looks like it was a good call, Mom, that it made. You're going to school. Yeah, but I could stop going if I wanted to, right? That was the deal, yes, he answered. Though I guess it would have depend on why you wanted to stop going to, you know. You have to let us know. You have to talk to us and tell us how you're feeling. And if anything bad was happening, okay? You promise you'll tell us. Yeah. So, can I ask you something? Are you mad at Mom or something? You've been kind of huffy with her all night long. You know, okay. Am as much to blame for sending you to school as she is. No, she's more to blame. It was her idea. Mom knocked on the door just then and peeked her head inside my room. Just wanted to say goodnight, she said. She looked kind of shy for a second. Hi, Mama, Dad said, picking up my hand and waving it at her. I heard you two cut off your braid, Mom said to me, sitting down at the edge of the bed next to Daisy. It's not a big deal, I answered quickly. I didn't say it was, said Mom. Why don't you put Augie to bed tonight? Dad said to Mom, getting up. I've got some work to do anyway. Good night, my son, my son. That was another part of our okie-dokie routine, though I wasn't in the mood to say goodnight. Dear old Dad, I'm so proud of you, said Dad, and then he got up out of the bed. Mom and Dad had always taken turns putting me to bed. I know it arms around me. She didn't seem surprised that I was crying. "It's okay," she whispered in my ear. "It will be okay." "I'm sorry," I said between sniffles. "Shh," she said, wiping my tears with the back of her hand. "You have nothing to sorry about." "Why do I have to be so ugly, Mommy?" I whispered. "No, baby, you're not. I know I am." She kissed me all over my face. She kissed my eyes that came down too far. She kissed my cheeks that looked punched in. She kissed my tortoise mouth. She said soft words that I know were meant to help me, but words can't change my face. 대략적인 지형을 파악하기 위해 2분 정도 천천히 주차장을 돌아보면 될 것이라고 계산했지만 그때 갑자기 대로에서부터 우르릉 꽝꽝 거리며 쇼핑센터에서 돌진하는 벤츠가 눈에 들어왔다. 여기가 그의 목표 지점이었던 것이다. 양복을 입고 귀를 브루투스의 이어폰을 끼운 남자는 목표 지점. 오베는 잠시도 망설이지 않았다. 엑셀러레이터를 밟아 갑류 지점까지 돌진했다. 주차장에 들어섰던 벤츠가 기 소리를 내며 브레이크를 밟고 경적을 세게 울리며 사부 뒤를 박자 달아붙였다. 경주가 시작되었다. 입구에 적혀있는 대로 주차장에선 차량은 오른쪽으로 동행해야 했지만 벤츠도 빈 주차 공간이 2곳밖에 없다는 사실을 깨닫고 오베를 추월하기 위해 왼쪽으로 가려고 했다. 오베는 그저 벤츠 앞에서 길을 막기 위해 움직였다. 두 남자는 아스팔트로 포장한 길을 누비며 사냥을 시작했다. 오베는 작은 토요타 한 대가 도로 표지판을 따라 오른쪽에서 빙 돌려 주차 구역으로 진입하는 것을 뱀이라고 확인했다. 오베는 돌진하는 동안 반대 방향에서 다가오는 토요타를 눈으로 계속 쫓았다. 벤츠는 여전히 오베의 뒤를 달아붙이 있었다. 물론 오베는 남은 주차 공간 중 입구와 제일 가까운 자리에 들어갈 수도 있었다. 그럼 다음 벤츠가 나머지 하나를 들어가도록 할 수도 있겠고. 하지만 그렇게 하면 이 전쟁에서 배가 나를 밀어버리기라도 할 것처럼 울부짖으며 경적을 울렸지만 가망은 조금 더 없었다. 오비는 이미 인자한 표정으로 토요타에게 빈 주차 공간을 들어가라고 손을 흔들었다. 토요타가 무사히 주차 공간에 들어가고 나서 오베 역시 남을 한 공간으로 대안하게 들어갔다. 벤츠 운전자가 어찌나 소리를 지르며 짐을 뛰겨대는지 차가 지나갈 때 오베가 그를 볼 수 없을 정도로 창문이 얼룩이져 있었다. 오베는 마치 즙을 베어 남긴 금투사처럼 성리를 만기가면 샤프에서 내렸다. 그럼 다음 토요타를 봤다. 차문을 활짝 열었다. 아, 젠장. 오베가 짜증스레 중얼거렸다. 어라, 안녕하세요. 멀테가 운전석에서 나와 몸을 펴면서 명랑하게 인사했다. 어머, 안녕하세요. 토요타의 다른 쪽에서 새 살배기를 내려줬던 멀테의 부인도 인사했다. 오베는 멀리 사라져가는 벤츠를 후회를 찬 시선으로 바라보았다. 주차 공간 내주셔서 고마워요. 진짜 감사해요. 멀테가 환하게 웃곤 있었다. 오베는 대답하지 않았다. 아버지 이름 뭐예요? 세 살배기가 소리를 빽질렀다. 오베가 말했다. 내 이름은 나사닌. 세 살배기가 명랑하게 말했다. 오베가 그에게 고개를 끄덕였다. 저는 패드릭이라고 멀테가 말하기 시작했다. 하지만 오베는 이미 몸을 돌려 떠난 뒤였다. 주차 고마워요. 외국인 임신부가 뛰어서 소리쳤다. 오베는 그녀의 목소리에 섞인 웃음을 들을 수 있었다. 그는 그게 마음에 들지 않았다. 그는 그저 뭐 대서라고 우엉거리고는 돌아보지 않은 채